What's good, people? We back with another video today in the Lions franchise, and it's finally here, man. The off season is upon us. We finished the regular season. We ended 9-8, of course. We do have 2 first-round picks. This is going to be a very interesting off season, but it starts, of course, with DJ Chark, who absolutely exploded this season. Signed a 1-year deal worth about $4 million. Bet on himself and had an incredible season. Over 1,600 yards, 16 scores. He has gone over 1,000 yards before in the past, but nothing like this year. And especially coming off a year that he was injured in Jacksonville, only had 7 grabs on the season, to explode like he did, I don't think anybody saw this coming. So it puts us in a tough position. Do we franchise tag him, or do we give him the money straight up and expect him to, I don't know if to go for 1,616 scores again, but do we expect him to be consistent? And with this deal, approaching this deal, I looked at 2 names. One being Christian Kirk, who got paid the last offseason by the Jaguars. And he had a phenomenal season as well, over 1,300 yards and 11 scores in his own right. Actually won the award for best receiver in the AFC this past season. And he's getting about $21 million, about $21.5 million throughout the next 3 years, though he did sign a 4-year contract extension. The other receiver I looked at was Deebo Samuel, who again also signed an extension last offseason. Deebo kind of dropped off a little bit, but of course we know Deebo is a wide back, both a wide receiver and a running back. Didn't have as much production in the running game this year as opposed to last, but Deebo's still a damn good player, one of the best receivers in the NFL. And Deebo's making he's making a lot of money this year, not so much, but he's making $29 million next year, and then it drops back down to $24 million. So with DJ Chark, I kind of tried to be in the middle here. Christian Kirk was about 21.5, whereas Deebo was about 25, 26-ish. So I tried to go in the middle here. I did want to extend Chark. I didn't want to franchise tag him because we would be in the same situation next year. I just wanted to get this deal over with. So I kept moving numbers around, kept mixing numbers around, and I came down to about $24 million per season. I liked a 3-year deal just so we're not tied to him long term, in case, he's dealt with injuries in the past. I thought 3 years was fine. Didn't want to do a 4 or 5 year deal. By the end of this deal, he'll be about 29, 30 years old, so we can gauge whether he's dropping off physically or not. So 3 years, I really like this deal, and I felt comfortable making this offer. 3 years, $72 million, averaging about $24 million a season, and he gladly resigns. We are bringing back the best receiver in football over the course of last season. He will remain a Detroit Lion, and not only will we bring in DJ Chark, but of course Jameson Williams, our first-round pick last year, who missed the entire season, is coming back. So we're going to have 2 potential wide receiver ones. That's going to be a lot of fun. Moving on now to some other re-signings. Mike Hughes, our slot corner, really had a pretty good season. Had 1.5 sacks, 4 interceptions, but what he really made a difference in was the defensive touchdowns. He also had a fumble recovery, but 3 defensive scores this season. We moved him into the slot about week 5-ish, and he really made a difference, man. He's probably our best corner in terms of true talent. So I wanted to offer him a deal, and we offered him 3 years, $30 million, about $10 million per season for a slot corner. That's pretty good. And he re-signs as well. So we bring back Mike Hughes, our best corner. We bring back DJ Chark, our best wide receiver. I tried to bring back Bo Melton as well. He did not want to re-sign. Of course, Bo Melton, we brought him in. We signed him off of the Dolphins practice squad. So he didn't really want to be here, so we're not going to force him. Deshaun Elliott is another guy I'm not too keen on bringing back because we need the money for free agency, man. So we're going to let Deshaun Elliott go, and we're going to ride with Kirby Joseph, the second-year safety, and we'll see what he does. But now we're here at free agency, and let's take a look at the roster here. Jared Goff, of course, coming off a 45 interception season. He was largely ineffective, though we did finish 9-8. Jamal Williams, we were not able to reach a contract agreement, so he will test free agency. I would like to bring him back, however. Taking a look at our receivers here. Our top 3 receivers are looking real nice. Josh Reynolds is solid, though. That savings amount does look pretty good. TJ Hawkinson is coming back. This is his final year on his rookie deal, so he's going to want to get paid. We do need some depth pieces at offensive line, but our starting offensive line looks really good. Minus the right guard, Hal Vaitai, I'm not so sure if I'm going to be keeping him. The Lions signed him to a ridiculous contract, and he's not very good, man. And that savings number looks pretty enticing, over $7 million. And then, of course, we have Penei Sewell. So our offensive line is very good, minus that right guard spot. We're going to have to figure that out. Where our team shines is the defensive line. We are stacked at both left and right defensive end, of course, led by Charles Harris and Aiden Hutchinson. Romeo Okwara missed all of last year, and he has a high price tag, man. $11 million in savings could be had if we cut him. We don't know what he's going to be this year. Of course, missing the entirety of last season, but his stats are very, very good. 88 power moves, man, for a backup defensive end. That's outstanding. And then at defensive tackle, we have Aleem McNeil, Levi Musarike. Would like to see some more added pass rush help to that interior. Moving on to the linebacker spot, Derek Barnes. He did not start much last year, but 24 years old, a promising player. And then, of course, Malcolm Rodriguez, one of our best young players on the roster. Going to our cornerback room, we did let Amani Oruwariye go. He was asking for a little too much, and after paying Mike Hughes, we decided to let him walk. So corner is a need as well. And then, of course, Deshaun Elliott, as mentioned earlier, we let him go. We're going to be riding with Kirby Joseph. This is our list of picks. So let's take a look at the free agents, and right off the bat, Tom Brady is a free agent. 4 teams are interested in him. He is a 90 overall, still top 5 quarterback in the league at 46 years young. Here's some other players that have gone. Tremaine Edmonds has already been signed to the Denver Broncos. Odell Beckham Jr. has signed with the Chicago Bears. We will be seeing Odell twice a season from here on out. Jordan Poyer signs with the Houston Texans. Calvin Ridley goes back to the Atlanta Falcons. David Montgomery, the former Chicago Bear, to the 49ers, as well as Jamel Dean. Evan Ingram, who had a phenomenal season with the Jaguars, bet on himself and is going to get paid by the Washington Commanders. Tom Brady, I'm not going to lie, I'm very, very interested in Tom Brady, but we do not have the cap space to offer what he's looking for. He wants just over $43 million per season, but he is still a phenomenal quarterback prospect, quarterback talent, far from a prospect at this point. Top 5 overall quarterback, absolutely dominant, coming off a 5,000-yard, 37 touchdown campaign in which he led the Bucs to the playoffs for the 3rd year straight, man. Sure, they did miss out on the divisional round. They were eliminated during the wild card week, but he's still a monster. Another player that signs with the Bears is Jack Conklin at right tackle. And another guy we're looking at is Brian Bulaga. Of course, in his advanced age, I'm looking to potentially move him to right guard. Of course, we are sorely lacking in that right guard spot. But I also wanted to show the side-by-side comparisons between Tom Brady and Jared Goff. Goff actually has a little bit more arm strength at this juncture, which is to be expected with Brady being 46. But Brady absolutely outclasses him in terms of accuracies. Although short accuracy, Jared Goff is pretty solid in. Goff is also a little bit faster at 76 speed, whereas Brady is 71 speed. But yeah, man, Brady way better play action, way better awareness. I mean, he's a better quarterback, man. Jared Goff is ranked 27th overall, whereas Tom Brady is a top 5 player. So I don't know, man. I'm very interested in Brady, though. Let's take a look at some of the prospects at quarterback in the draft. Christian Peck projected to go top 5. He is a stud among studs out of Pittsburgh. It is widely assumed that he's going to go first overall, though. Earlier in the season, when our Lions were about 3-7, it looked like we could potentially be in play for Christian Peck. But we ended up finishing 9-8 to a surprise of all of us. I mean, I wasn't expecting to go 9-8. Eric Merritt is another quarterback prospect that we could be targeting here. There's actually, I think, 6 quarterbacks here between look, all these guys. Lance Gregory is probably the cutoff. Jonathan Snell's another quarterback prospect. I mean, there's a lot of potentially really good quarterbacks here. Morgan Bowden is another one. All these guys are projected to go in the first round. So Joey Meredith, Seth Hewitt is another guy, and then Lance Gregory is probably the cutoff. So actually need to count. How many are there? So there's Peck, there's Merritt, there's Bowden, Snell, Meredith, Hewitt, and Gregory. So yeah, 7 quarterbacks who could be taken in the first round here. So there could be a guy here that we could take, but I don't know. To be determined. Like I mentioned earlier, I do want some interior pass rush help, and Antonio Lashley fits that mold. He is the fastest of the defensive tackle prospects, while also being pretty strong in his own right. 35 reps. And he's not terrible in terms of rushing, or run defending rather, but he's very promising in terms of rushing the quarterback. Justin Cook is another guy. He had a story earlier in the year. He's not bad as well, but for my money, I like Antonio Lashley a lot. Some other prospects we have looked at throughout the season. Justin Woodward has kind of fallen off for me, but still a first round projected player. The guy that I'm all in on this year is Matt Cooper, middle linebacker, 21 years young, 6'3", ran a 4.5. I mean, this dude is explosive, an absolute athlete, and he's got some pretty good coverage abilities and potentially some pretty good pass rushing abilities, despite being a middle linebacker. Like I said earlier, we need cornerback help desperately, and there are 3 top corners, but none better than Brandon Wall, who stands at 6'2", 22 years of age, and he is an athlete. We talked about Matt Cooper being an athlete. This guy is an athlete as well. Almost a 40-inch vert, ran a 4.37, great 3 cone. So Brandon Wall could be an option for us. Some other cornerbacks that I really like, Connor Biggers and Pat Grimes. I think Pat Grimes is probably the best true talent at the cornerback position this year, but he's a little bit on the smaller side, just 5'10". Connor Biggers, also pretty promising. So we have our options at cornerback, and with 2 first-round picks, we very well might have to select one of these guys. Pat Grimes, I love this player, Pat Grimes, but at 5'10", he's just a little too short. We're going up against tall receivers, in this division with Justin Jefferson, Christian Watson, and now Odell Beckham is coming into the fold. So I don't know, man. As for Hal Vaitai on the Lions, man, $10 million he's making the next 2 years. I don't know if I like that number. We could cut over $7 million if we let go of Hal Vaitai, and I think that's what we're going to do. So we sent Hal Vaitai his walking papers. We also let Josh Reynolds go, who will free about $3 million. But to get Tom Brady, we still need to free about $12 million in cap space. So we take a look at Jared Goff, man. 45 interceptions. It could be risky to let go of Goff and then not get Brady. But at that price tag, we're freeing $20 million. We are going to let Jared Goff go. And now we have the funds to go after the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. And he actually has a very high interest level for us as he sees the Detroit Lions as a Super Bowl contender. So we're going to make an offer here, a massive, massive offer. 2-year deal worth over $100 million. And funny enough, I actually thought about Daniel Jones as well because his speed in this game is ridiculous. I mean, his speed in real life is pretty good too. But 89 speed, 89 acceleration for Daniel Jones is insane. But after sending that deal to Tom Brady, it is official. The GOAT of the sport has joined the Detroit Lions on a 2-year deal at 46 years young. Out of Michigan, he's coming back to Detroit to play for the Lions and potentially could be his last 2 years. He's home, dare I say. Tom Brady is our quarterback. It still has not sunk in. But we're going to be playing with the GOAT. And think about it. He's got DJ Chark, Jameson Williams, TJ Hawkinson, DeAndre Swift, a very, very good offensive line. He's got everything he needs. But sadly, concessions do need to be made. We do let go of Romeo Okwara after all this time deliberating on it. We need more money to help Tom Brady, and that help starts with Brian Bulaga. As I mentioned earlier, I want to move him to right guard. Also, we are trying to extend Jamal Williams as he was our best passing downs running back. He was very good blocking as a pass blocker. So I'd like to bring him back. DeAndre Swift is not much of a blocker. Jamal Williams also had 8 rushing touchdowns for us, and he could be a potential great. We had a great 1-2 punch last year with him and DeAndre Swift. The Chicago Bears are spending big money. We saw earlier Marcus Davenport. The Bears are going all in. Deshaun Elliott actually goes to the Colts. The Bears also pay Eric McCoy on top of Jack Conklin, absolutely revamping this offense around Justin Fields. Brian Bulaga has been signed, and we move him to right guard, where he will slot in as the day one starter at right guard at 34 years of age. He's declined physically, but he's still a very good pass and run blocker. We also bring back Jamal Williams, which is much necessary because Tom Brady is not going to be out scrambling many players. So we need somebody at running back who can block. We have 3 options at private workout. So one of them will be Brandon Wall. One of them will be Antonio Lashley. And the third and final one will be Matt Cooper. These are 3 guys I'm very interested in. And I want to see, just if my thoughts on them is as true as it looks. But Delvin Blanton, this receiver prospect is insane. 43-inch vert. A speed demon. Nearly ran a 4.4 flat. He's big, he's powerful, he's fast, and he's scary. He's a player I thought about, but eventually I don't see us being in the position to draft him. So let's take a look at Brandon Wall. These are all of his traits. Of course, we don't know skill for skill what he will become, but he's a promising player, man. Matt Cooper, another promising player. I'm all in on Matt Cooper. I can say that right now. If he's available, I'd like to draft Matt Cooper. He's a do-it-all linebacker, man. An absolute stud. And man, you take a look at these accuracies. I'm all in. Antonio Lashley is another guy. Again, we need some interior pass rush help opposite Aleem McNeil. And I think Antonio Lashley can give that to us. With his speed, his strength combination, it's rare to find a guy this big at over 300 pounds to move like he can move and have the strength that he has. He's a rare athlete. Now let's take a look at the schedule for us. The Falcons, Raiders, and we see the Packers, the Super Bowl winning Packers, week 3 in Lambeau. The Raiders were actually another team interested in Brady. So that's going to be fascinating as they come to Detroit against Tom Brady. Of course, we know Tom's history with the Falcons, 28-3, and of course he goes to the to Atlanta in Superdome. We play the Denver Broncos, who were absolutely dominant last season. The Kansas City Chiefs and Pat Mahomes. We get another Brady versus Mahomes rivalry. Brady goes back again to Tampa against his former team. So a lot of interesting games on the schedule, but we are finally here for the draft. The Seattle Seahawks are first on the board, and they take the quarterback of the future, Christian Peck, first overall. They let Russell go. They traded for him, or they traded him away to the Broncos, and they fell off a cliff, and now they get the quarterback of the future. The Chargers have a disappointing season. They take Kevin Lopez, an edge rusher, to pair with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. That's going to be fascinating to see. Very dominant pass rushing trio that they have. Now the Chicago Bears are on the clock. Our rival Bears finished third overall, which means they have a premium pick, and they take Delvin Blanton, the receiver out of Ohio State. And I am terrified of this man. And I will show you guys a little bit later how good he is. The Texans have the fourth overall pick, and they take an outside linebacker. The Ravens opt to take the best tackle in the class. The Dolphins take the best right tackle in the class. And then Washington takes an edge rusher in Jay Callaway, which means we are on the board at 8th overall. And I did not want to mess around with this. Although there are plenty of good quarterback prospects on the board, like I said before, we let go of Amani Oruwariye. We need a number 2 boundary corner opposite Jeff Okudah. We scouted Brandon Wall a lot. He's available, and I really like his traits. So with the 8th pick, the Detroit Lions select Brandon Wall, and he has 95 speed, 92 jumping, at 6'2", 94 acceleration. We need a guy who's big, fast, to go up against Christian Watson and those deep balls, to go against Justin Jefferson, Odell Beckham, and now Delvin Blanton, who just got selected. I like that pick a lot. Back to back outside linebackers go. The Falcons, who we see week 1, select an edge rusher, Darrell Spencer out of Penn State. The Eagles select a second corner off the board in Connor Biggers. And now our Detroit Lions are back on the board here at 14th overall. And like I said before, man, I'm not messing around here. Not even looking at the trade down offers, because I know who I wanted all along since the beginning of the season. Matt Cooper is my favorite player in this class. There are plenty of quarterbacks available. I'm banking on one of them being there at our second pick. So we are going to take Matt Cooper here, and he is an absolute athlete. 89 speed at 21 years old, 6'3", mountain of a man, 91 acceleration. This dude is an athlete, an athletic freak, and I can't wait to watch him play. Steelers are on the board after the Texans select an interior guard, and the Patriots before them took a pass rusher. One of the quarterbacks is off the board, Jonathan Snell. Looks like the Kenny Pickett operation is a no-go. Another quarterback, though, here could start the run. Eric Merritt to the Colts. The Bucks, who let Brady go, take another quarterback, Morgan Bowden, which means 3 of the remaining, I think, 6 quarterbacks are off the board. The Eagles take an edge rusher with their second first-round pick. Justin Woodward, another linebacker that we were interested in, goes to the Bengals. And I'm nervous, man. There's 3 quarterbacks left. We have to make it to our next pick, which is 14th overall in the second round. I don't know, man. I would like a quarterback to sit behind Brady for these next 2 years. The Cowboys take the first running back off the board as Tony Pollard left them in free agency and actually went to our rival Chicago Bears. So the Bears absolutely shelled out a ton of money to everybody. The Vikings select a right tackle with their first pick in this draft. The Arizona Cardinals, who were so very close to making the Super Bowl, select an interior rusher. The Seahawks with their second pick. The Bills take a tight end, which is interesting. And now the Packers are on the board here. As we take a look, there are 3 quarterbacks left that I'm very interested in. The Packers select Alex Stark at right guard. So let's see, to start the second round, how many quarterbacks are available. And the Hawks, I love that move. Take Pat Grimes, who I thought is the best true quarterback in the class. True cornerback, excuse me. One quarterback goes to the Dolphins. Another quarterback goes to the Panthers. And right before our pick, Lance Gregory goes to the Saints, which means no quarterback prospects worth taking are available, and that ensures that we will not take a quarterback in this class. Instead, we select Antonio Lashley, who is hidden dev, 89 strength, 79 speed, 82 acceleration. That speed strength combination is lethal, and he could be a force for us with some more development. Of course, we did sign Brian Bulaga in free agency, but he's on a 1-year deal. He's 34 years old. There's no guarantee he's coming back after this season. So we select Philip Pitts to play a backup role for us. He's very promising, actually. Just 21 years old. He's not going to have to start right away. I like that pick a lot. We also need some tight end depth. And of course, with TJ Hockenson potentially not coming back, this is his final year on his deal. I thought it wise to take a tight end, so we'd select Sterling Grayson, who's got some pretty decent speed, and we'll have to see what his attributes are afterwards. We are in the 5th round now, and I would like to draft the running back here. Rayshawn Briggs actually ran a 4.45, which was the fastest, but he's a power back. So he's got 89 speed, 90 acceleration, 85 agility, with 84 strength. He could be a force for us in late game situations with DeAndre Swift. We know DeAndre Swift has an injury history. So that's an interesting pick right there. This pick, in hindsight, I would not have made Jerron Keaton at safety. We do need some safety depth, but he's not very good, I'll be honest. I probably would have taken a quarterback here, as there are 2 quarterback prospects in the 6th round that actually piqued my interest, and I took one of them here. The other one was Julian Lambert, but I decided to take Josh Perez here at quarterback, who is pretty fast, not bad, and actually has pretty good arm strength, 90 throw power with 80 speed. In the 6th round, I'll take that. He's 23 years old, definitely gonna need some development. He's not ready right now, but he's not gonna be asked to play. Hopefully, knock on wood, Tom Brady plays all 17 games and the playoffs the next 2 years. Julian Lambert, I actually really liked him, but we missed out on him. And that's our draft class, guys. We make, 7 selections, I think. We do not have a 7th round pick, but we did have 2 6th. We actually make 8 selections because we had 2 firsts as well. Brandon Wall has some work to do. Of course, he's a physical marvel, but he still needs to understand how to play the cornerback position. His coverage accuracies are not great, but we're going to develop him. We'll see. Matt Cooper, though, is a day 1 starter. 96 tackle out the gate. Insane. Incredible speed. Pretty solid zone coverage already for a rookie. Again, he's just 21 years old. Good hit power as well. He's a big hitter. Hopefully he causes a lot of fumbles. Antonio Lashley, man. 77 power moves out the gate, matching with that 79 speed and 89 strength. He's going to be a force. 68 block shed is that, or 69, excuse me, block shed's not bad out the gate either. Philip Pitts off the gate is a phenomenal run blocker. 90 impact blocking. He's going to develop nicely behind Brian Bulaga, I feel like. Josh Perez, again, his accuracies are not great, though 76 deep is not bad. Jerron Keaton is where I wish we went in a different direction, but that's going to be the video, guys. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, comment down below what you thought of this offseason. I'm going to make a separate video detailing my favorite picks from different teams of the draft. I didn't want this video to run too long. I'll make a separate video detailing all the players that got drafted and where they went. But that's the video, guys. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, subscribe. I appreciate the love, appreciate the support as always. And of course, We'll see you on the next one. Can't wait to get this next season started. Peace.